Welcome everyone. Welcome to our second monthly meditation, healing meditation. Now this is for the month of March 2022. Here we are in the third month and finishing the first quarter of this year. Now there are a few things happening in March. We have the March equinox, that is the 20th and 21st of March, and the equinox energies run for 3 days, before, during and after. And with the equinox, it signifies the end of the old astrological year and the beginning of the new astrological year. And so we move out of Pisces and into Aries, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac. And so we see this turning point and a new cycle and moving into, again, new energies again into 2022. And so this will really solidly anchor this energy for the rest of the year. Now, much has occurred, and as I mentioned in the weekly meditation for the week of the 28th of February, the proverbial hit the fan following the 22nd of the second 22 energy portal, so the 22 to 22 portal. And if you have not seen that, what I briefly will recap here is that when there is more light that comes through, and this is what happens on that day, and certainly through the energy portal leading up to that day, then more comes up to be revealed from the shadows, and all comes up to be released. And so for many people, and I know many people who I'm interfacing with through my work, this has occurred in their personal lives, and it is certainly occurring globally. And so March will really continue this, where again there will continue to be revelations, things will continue to be brought to the surface to be revealed, and will continue to be released. So it needs to be revealed first before we can release it. So if it's lurking in the shadows, we cannot have the light of awareness upon it. Once it's revealed and then comes out of the shadows, now we can have that in our awareness, and then we can make more conscious choices about what we must do, whether it's consciously to release the energy or heal a pattern or anything that we might do to release that from our bodies or from our experience. And so that can depend on what it is, what kind of healing modality or energy work or any work that you may need to be doing will be very much dependent on that and what's occurring for you personally. So collectively, this is what many of us are experiencing, and this is something that will continue through March. Now, in the angel message for March 2022 that I channeled from the Keepers of the Keys, they were very much about, with all these experiences that are coming up, and that's with any experience that we have in life, like regardless of, it's occurring now or in our past or in the future, particularly when there are contrasting experiences, so experiences that we actually do not wish to experience. They are all opportunities for us to decide who it is we really are. So through our choices, through our decisions, we get to choose, who are we? Are we going to act from love, or are we going to act from fear? Are we going to say yes to something, or are we going to say no? And they said that our no's can just be as defining about who we are as our yeses. And our no's are equally important. And so in all of this, we get to decide who we are. Something's occurring globally. Who are we relative to that? Something's occurring to us personally. Who are we relative to this experience? And so if we are embracing who we really are, and that is love, for who we really are is love, then how can we choose to not just express this love, but how do we act upon this through the frequency of love? So we must see it through the lens of love. We must understand it through a mind of love, and we must experience it in the body of love. Now, understanding this, that we are a three-part being, and So therefore, we must understand it through the energy of love also. And this connects then into the higher mind or a higher understanding. And therefore, we have higher will as well as personal will. And this comes the essence of their angel message for this month when it comes to deciding who we are. For the crystal that came through for March 2022 is this Pyrite Heart. Now, I will say more about this Pyrite Heart. Now, traditionally, energetically, Pyrite connects into the solar plexus. So I want to say something briefly about the solar plexus. Now, this is certainly the seat of our personal will. And what may occur here, because it's also the seat of our personal power. Now, for those who have a closed heart, what often may occur is the solar plexus overcompensates energetically, and this is where we have corruptions in power, where people try to have power over another instead of attaining their own personal power. Now, the converse may occur, where we have people who have a very open heart, but then not have an open solar plexus. Now, this can occur for many, many reasons, some of this being when we have stories of shame, which are stored often in the solar plexus. Now, they may be stored elsewhere, but it is also where energetically certainly sends a lot of shame in our solar plexus. So when we can have both an open heart and an open solar plexus, we can be both connected to another as well as have our own personal sovereignty, our divine sovereignty. And now this word has been bandied around a lot, and it has in some ways been appropriated by different groups for different meanings. When I use it, I'm saying it in terms of having personal sovereignty when it comes to another, particularly in relationships. So I can be free to be me, and you can be free to be you, and I will not control you, and you will not control me, but we can connect in love still. And we get to choose. This is our personal choice, how much we are going to engage with the other. Is it going to be from a distance, or is it going to be up close? And we see these dynamics, well, I certainly see them playing out in personal relationships very much so. And there can be, of course, then parallels and mirrors when it comes to larger groups and also larger organizations and structures. But those often who experience disenfranchisement in their personal relationships will see that reflected in a larger sphere. So while we can talk a whole hour just on that alone, I just wanted to lay the premise of that, why the solar plexus is important to this discussion, particularly as it relates to pyrite. Now, because this is a heart, pyrite heart, so of course it's been polished and it's shaped to be a heart, but because also, not just because of it being a heart, because of the energy work I've done with this particular pyrite has connected with the energy of Christ consciousness, and therefore with the divine Sophia. The divine Sophia is, the Greeks call her the Aya Sophia, in other words, holy wisdom. She is what some would call the feminine Christ. She is Christ consciousness, and is what in a Christian tradition is normally thought of as the Holy Spirit. Now, the Holy Spirit is normally thought of as feminine. We have a very masculine trinity when it comes to a Christian tradition, but when we look at it in a more spiritual context, then we can bring the feminine back into play. So here we have the divine Sophia, the Christ consciousness, and this is the energy that we'll be connecting to when we work with the healing meditation for this month, for the March 2022. And so while this will connect to our solar plexus, it will also connect to our hearts, because this represents energetically and symbolically as the Christed heart. And now if you see from Christian depictions of Mother Mary and Yeshua having that Christed heart, that sanctified heart that is radiating out. This is what a Christed heart is. So you have the Christ consciousness within your heart, within the temple of your heart, and it radiates that golden light, a golden ray of light that is connected to Christ consciousness, and then beams and radiates that out. Now, when we are fully embodied in that, we do not have to fight for our sovereignty. We stand in our sovereignty. It is a statement of who we are by just being who we are. And so that is a very different energy to what we may need to do when we first may need to work for, let us say, for our individuation from another, when we've had unhealthy relationship dynamics. So that is the energy that is coming through for March. There is much more to be said around the equinox and beginning of the astrological new year. What I will say about this now is the March equinox is our opportunity to come back into balance. And so this is a real gift that it's coming on the back of all of this, all that has been occurring and will occur in March. It is our opportunity to come back into equilibrium and into balance. And equinox is always a powerful time to set intentions. And given that we will then be moving into a whole new cycle of the astrological new year, it is a wonderful time to set these intentions. And so while we may, I don't want to say just ride out March, we need to be moving through March with awareness, with mindfulness, and with a consciousness of love, or at least inviting in the consciousness of love, so that we can begin to see our situations through the eyes of love. Then we can embrace the opportunity for balance and the gift that the equinox brings, and the opportunity for setting intentions for the remainder of the year, so that we can begin to transform our experiences, to transmute them. And so it means that it's not all pain and suffering, but everything that is coming up is for our best and highest good. And so we must see it in that way. We must see what is coming up so that we can see it, feel it, be aware of it, and then we may release it from our experience. And I will be doing a full meditation for the equinox. That will be a paid event, only one of 5 paid meditations this year. And so that is something that I'll be posting more information about, but that will be a full meditation. And when I mean a full meditation, it means it'll be much longer than the 8 or the 10-minute meditations that we've been doing here regularly. But here you get to have the benefit of the free access and being able to do this as often as you wish. Now, I will be ringing through the keepers, of course, and connecting with the energy of divine Sophia and the consciousness of Pyrite. So I'll call the keepers in. Welcome, dear ones. We are pleased to be with you once more. We are pleased to always be connecting with you whenever we have the opportunity to, and know that you do not have to wait for these opportunities. For while we are connected with Vicky, we are not here just for Vicky alone. We are here for all of humanity. And so given our nature, any may call upon us, and we may be with you all according to your own free will choices. All you need to do is ask. So know that you do not have to wait for these opportunities, although we must say that we particularly enjoy these opportunities, for we may directly share, or more directly share, our messages to you. Know that you always have the opportunity to connect within, and so do not wait for the external opportunities only, but we, as we said, embrace these too. While we are grateful for these, we are always grateful for more. And so we will connect into the energy for this month, for March 2022, as we bring in a healing meditation to support you all. And so first, we call in the higher selves of each and every person who will come to this meditation in the eternal moment of now. We connect with Vicky's higher self, Araya, and Aria, her divine collective, as we gather a symphony of light, together with the councils of light, with Melchizedek and the order of Melchizedek, with the archangels and the angelic realms, with Father, Mother, God, with the Christed beings of light, and with Divine Sophia, what some may call Ein Sof O. And so let us connect the great central source, the great central sun, the great white rose, as we bring through a pillar of light, through you and to you, filling your bodies and your energy fields, through the temple of Blue Volcano, opening into the crystalline grids, through them, all the way down into the heart of Gaia, connecting with this pillar of light in a continuous flow of energy and of light, and supporting you energetically. And so we also connect with Pyrite, this Pyrite Heart, and the divine consciousness of this crystal, and we send it to you to envelop you, surround you, and fill you up from the inside out, and bringing through the energy of Christ consciousness, Divine Sophia, and the Christed heart. Now this is already working into your heart centers and solar plexus, into your spleen that runs up through the left side of the rib cage or left rib cage, to release stories that no longer serve you. Stories that are coming up to be revealed and to be released. Some stories that are from your ancestral line. Some stories that are personal. Some stories that are collective. And so we are supported with Saint Germain and the Violet Flame, in releasing the stories that no longer serve you, and no longer in your best and highest good, so that you may more readily release the old stories, so that you may be free to rewrite the new ones as you move forward into a new energy. For you must release the past to be able to move forward into the future, grounded in the present moment, into calm, into your center, and into balance. And as this now spreads into the back of the heart, up through the right side of the head, allowing it to release all that no longer serves you, all that no longer supports you, all that is not compatible with Christ consciousness. This Christ consciousness that is the consciousness of love, that is unity consciousness, that was embodied by all the masters that have walked upon your planet. Now let it radiate through your heart and through your minds, through your bodies, as it brings through the energy of Christ consciousness into your cells, and your multidimensional DNA. So that you know that every revelation, everything that comes up for clearing is to serve you, move into a higher consciousness. Fully allowing that to flow through your bodies. And to expand through your energy fields. It's working through the gallbladder meridians to help release overthinking, so that you may more fully drop into your heart centers. Moving through your throats, your mouths, your faces, your eyes, your bodies, your skin, your teeth, your hair. Every cell and particle of you, every layer of your body, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And you may set the intentions for yourselves that all that comes up to be revealed and to be released, to be done so with ease and with grace, and for you to be shown what is now in your best and highest good. Let all fall away that is no longer in your best and highest good, and only that which is may remain. And so you may grieve any losses, dear ones, but let us assure you that what you are moving into will be greater than ever before. For now we may say that you could not have conceived previously what you are now moving into. And so each step is a step onto a new platform from which you can see from a different vantage point. And from each vantage point you may integrate and process from where you are, and then you may step into more. Know that there is always more, dear ones. This is the journey through life. This is the evolution of your soul. This is what called you here upon the earth plane. For the contrast, for the experience playground, for this adventure through life. And so now we bless you upon this adventure, even as we bless your hearts, allowing the golden ray of light, the light of Christ's consciousness, to enter your inner sanctums of the temples of your hearts, to sustain you, to fortify you, to strengthen you, and to enlighten you. And so it is. Thank you everyone for joining with me and with the Keepers and the Symphony of Light, and with the Pyrite Heart and all who came through for us to support us through March and beyond. Know that when you find this meditation is perfect for you. And so from my heart to yours, I send you much love.